Everyone, we're going to make you an appointment, Scott, by the end of the day, right? So good morning, everyone. May 7th, that's the deadline to get your real ID, which will be required to get into government buildings. And as Tess mentioned, security at the airport. This comes after years of delays, Congress approving the switch after 9/11. So this is what the ID will look like. You're going to want to look for this star at the top right-hand side here. That means you have that real ID. Now, officials say they're harder to counterfeit. And now we're learning TSA says it's seeing about an 81% compliance rate at checkpoints across the country. That's according to a recent CBS report. So how are Arizonans doing? Joining this morning to talk a little bit more about it is Bill Lamoureux with ADOT. Thank you so much for being here.
Happy to be here.
Okay, so how are Arizonans doing? How many Arizonans have those real IDs?
So we actually have 2.55 million Arizonans that have actually gotten their travel ID.
So this deadline is May 7th. Appointments, are they hard to come by? How busy are you guys? What are the best days to try to make an appointment?
So the travel ID is very convenient to get here in Arizona. You can make an appointment before you go to an MVD office. There's actually even authorized third-party locations that are hours after hours and on Saturdays. So we've got tons of opportunities for you to come in. You can book the appointment before you go in. If you know you need to go in on a busy day, like Mondays and Fridays tend to be busier. So book that appointment ahead of time at azmvdnow.gov. And then when you walk in with all the paperwork that you need, you'll be in and out in like 20 minutes.
So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, those are going to be the slower days.
Correct.
Anecdotally across the country, we've seen some long lines. That doesn't seem to be the case at this point right now in Arizona.
I am very proud to say I work and represent the Arizona MVD because the wait time is about 12 minutes and the average experience time is like 25, 26. Again, there are longer times, but the average wait time is 25 minutes. You walk in the door and you walk out the door with your services done like in under half an hour.
Okay, so for the folks that maybe are just realizing this is something they're going to need to do in the next month, give us a reminder of what documents you're going to want to bring, because you don't want to get to the appointment and realize you don't have what you need.
Right, so before you do come in, you make your appointment, and then you also want to make sure you have your proper documentation. What that includes, it could be your birth certificate, so a certified copy or the real one. It could be a valid current U.S. passport. And then you need 2 forms of ID with your name and your current address. It could be printed or it could be mailed. So like electric bill or your credit card statement, or actually I even tell a lot of people to use your vehicle registration from the MVD because it's got your name and your address right there on it.
So we know that people can use a passport if they're going to be flying if they don't have the real ID. What are some of the other forms of identification they can also use if they don't have that? Correct.
So the travel ID is a convenient option if you don't have federally compliant identification already, like a passport or a military ID card. Here in Arizona, a lot of folks commute to and from the border or across the border a lot. So there's a card called the Sentry card, Global Entry. There's a lot of federal identification cards that you could keep with you, but the Arizona Travel ID or the Real ID is a very convenient way to also make that happen if you know you're going to fly.
So it's kind of crunch time. We've done multiple stories on this sort of in the last few months. Are you noticing an uptick in folks coming in?
Absolutely. We are now seeing about 73% of the people that do get some credential in Arizona are accepting and wanting the travel ID.
Anything else you want people to know, or anything else you think is important that I haven't asked?
So I think it's important, and I really do appreciate you guys telling the story and making sure everyone knows the deadline is coming. The deadline is May 7th. If you're traveling, say, in August, then you've still got time. But you definitely want to get your ID at least 3 weeks ahead of time, because when you do come into our MVD office, you do want to be photo ready, because you will take a photo. So make sure you look however you want to look, but be photo ready. And then once all that paperwork is done and all that, the new driver license or ID will come to you in the mail, and that takes about 10 to 14 days. And you also want to be looking for a kind of just a generic plain white envelope. So don't accidentally throw it away with all the other junk mail you get. If you know you're getting that new credential, be on the lookout for it.
So say, your appointment is May 1st. It could be 2 weeks, 10 days after that. You're actually going to physically get it.
So if you're flying, say, June 1st, you want to backdate it by at least 3 weeks to give yourself a cushion to get that new ID or have some other federal identification with you.
Okay, great. Bill, thank you. Some helpful advice. We'll have a link to make an appointment on our website on the Scene on TV tab. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Scott will get you ready for your photo as well.
Well, I happen to be one of those idiots. My